Online. Okay, radio culture transmitting online, and we have Mr. Seth Edu AJ joining us for the second interview. On this interview, we are looking at a case of two petitions. And Mr. Doje has something to say. I'll let him tell us what he sums up that whole article to mean. But he has written a rather beautiful piece regarding the removal of the former Chief Justice and the institution of the current one. Mr. Doje, thank you very much for joining us on iCulture TV, Radio Culture. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me. You're welcome too.
Thank you so much. So you wrote this piece, you co-authored, I think, because I saw two signatures on that piece, but you co-authored this piece called "Is the Law Truthfully the Law? The Crisis of Ethics, Courage, and Justice." What did you seek to achieve with that piece, sir?
I don't know the time over there, but I guess it's around afternoon.
It is afternoon.
Good afternoon to you and your viewers. Yes, what I seek to achieve is very simple. You agree with me that for some time now, there has been a legal battle in Ghana here. That is the president seeking to sack the Chief Justice. Yes, 3 guys wrote a petition against the Chief Justice. One of such petition was questionable judgment. They accused the Chief Justice of giving a wrongfully rule. And then the other one also seek to do the same judgment. The first judgment was the ruling of declaring 4 seats vacant by the Ghana Speaker of Parliament, which the Supreme Court presided over the Chief Justice, ruled in the favor of the then majority and now minority. Then the second one was the judgment between EcoBank and one Daniel Ofori, which it didn't go in the favor of Daniel Ofori. It is against this background that they are sacking the Chief Justice. Now, during the vetting of the new appointed Chief Justice, he said that he gave Atayi 70 years, not because he deserved the 70 years, but because he was afraid that if he doesn't give him that sentence, he will come and then come after his family. So if somebody's judgment was questionable judgment, and this person also did the same thing, then there's no need for him to be given that appointment. So that's what we are seeking for, that the same sin committed by Chief Justice Tokono, the same sin.
If you say the same sin, how do you equate the two? The person says, let me be very clear. I find that statement very unfortunate that the Chief Justice said that. It was, let's leave that. Let's leave my comment out of it for now. But what I'm saying though is I'm struggling to find the equation. How does what he said equate to the grounds on which the former Chief Justice was removed?
It's the same thing. It's the same questionable judgment. If somebody has ruled against someone,
okay. So your basis is that it's questionable judgment. But before that, let me ask you this, just so people can situate the conversation properly, please. do you have a legal background? And who is Eagle Eye International?
All right. I don't have a legal background, but you'll also agree with me that we have two parts of law: the spirit and then the letter.
Yeah.
And the law is 75 common sense, and then 75% common sense, and 25% courtroom practice. So if something is not good, you don't need a legal brain to tell people that this one is not good. The same thing applies to the petitioners. They say questionable judgment. The petitioners were not do not have legal brains, but they were able to identify what a questionable
Conduct is. Point made. So who is Legal Eye International? Eagle Eye International.
Eagle Eye is an intelligence group monitoring political events within the constituency. We are not partisan. We are non-organization, non-government organization. That is NGO.
Okay. Okay. And who constitutes the Eagle Eye? Are you a group of investigative journalists?
I am the founder. I found Eagle Eye in 2016, and then I have co-founders. And at the moment, because I am associated with a political party, I am not chairing Eagle Eye any longer. We have a chairman who is.
So you are associated with a political party. Which one?
I am an MPP, strong MPP activist.
All right, great. All right. So it comes as no surprise to me then that you would have the opinion that you expressed in your treatise. Let me read a little bit of it and please help us decode it. You say in that piece, in every democratic society, the law is expected to wear the garments of truth, neutrality, moral authority, and fearlessness. Nowhere is this expectation higher than in the office of the Chief Justice, the final interpreter of fairness, the guardian of constitutional morality, and the human scale upon which justice is weighed. All well and good. But let me ask you again, in the previous government, when the president removed an electoral commissioner, was that any different? Or you are only concerned about judges, not other office holders?
Come again, sir.
So I'm saying
come again.
The previous government, right, to which you have admitted activists for, did remove an electoral commissioner. And I'm asking if that also equates to that same fairness that you are referring to in the first paragraph of your piece. Does that apply?
Yes. Yes. You see, we wouldn't have talking if the man himself didn't say that he was afraid, so he sentenced Atai for 70 years. If he didn't make that comment, who wouldn't have talking about the process, because we thought it was fair. But once the person himself has said that he did this because of that, and that is what we are talking about.
So essentially, you have no problem with the process of the removal of the Chief Justice, the former Chief Justice. The only problem is that it should also be applied to this current Chief Justice. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, please.
Let me ask you, Mr. Said. So, what would you say to people who would make the point that the judges have room, right, to wiggle within when sentencing? Judges have procedures. Judges have a certain, written code within which they can sentence. Are you sure Judge Baffoe Bonnie at the time breached the requirements of that sentencing guidelines? Do you have proof of that? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. It appears the network.
Yeah, the network is a bit funny, but let me ask my question again. If you can hear me, are you there?
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Yes, I'm
yes.
here.
Thank you very much. I'll rephrase the question. I think the network was getting a bit finicky. So I'll say
Yeah.
that if you look at what would you say to people who would say that judges have room, right? Judges have sentencing guidelines. So if a judge is sentencing somebody, they have the option to go low or go high, so to speak, right? They have room to wiggle within. Do you have proof that Judge Baffoe Bonnie, by sentencing Atayi to 70 years, breached the requirements of the sentencing guidelines? Have you checked that? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Did you hear the question, or do I need to
I,
repeat it again?
you need to repeat it because the network is disturbing here.
I'm sorry, I'll repeat it one more time. So I'm saying that judges, right? When a judge is sentencing an accused person, they have room to either go low or go high. A judge may decide that based on X, Y, and Z, I'm going to give this person less years, right? Or based on X, Y, and Z, I'm going to give this person more years. Now, you have a problem with the fact that Judge Baffoe Bonnie gave Atayi 70 years. I'm asking you, have you checked whether he breached the sentencing guidelines? Because judges have sentencing guidelines. If the sentencing guideline says you can give the person a maximum of 20 years and then you give the person 21 years, then you are breaching the sentencing guidelines, right? But
Yes.
if the sentencing guidelines gives room for the 70 years, then I guess he did not breach any rules. Have you checked to see if he breached the sentencing guidelines?
Yes. You see, there's a say that every normal thing is being guided by rules and regulations. The room that he or she operates within, there's a rule and regulations governing those or that room.
Yes.
Now, according to him, he says Atayi doesn't deserve what the sentence that he gave him, but because of his family, that is why he gave that sentence. That in itself is a breach of the rule, is a breach of the guidelines that gives him the rule to adjust or modify or otherwise stated.
I don't know if he explicitly said I mean, it's inferred if you ask me, right? But let's not debate that. He essentially, we all know what he said, and like I said, I personally have problems with it because if anything at all, Judge Baffoe Bonnie, if Atayi came out and you were dead and gone, you have family who would still be alive. So what are you saying? In that case, in that instant, it looks like he's leaving even his family dry. Because if he's dead and gone, in a superficial scenario, and then Atayi comes out of jail in 70 years and he wants to revenge, you will still have relatives that he can revenge on. So I see that as anyhow. But let's go back to it though. If the judge is within his rights to give a person 70 years, he has not breached any sentencing guidelines for which you would require or request his removal. Wouldn't you say so, Mr. Seth?
In fact, I quickly went to the, I think, 1960 criminal code, and then we have um, felonies. We have felony, and then we have misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And I don't think what Atayi did, even though he did a lot of things which was not good, but I don't think those things that he did warrant that sentence. And that is why we disagree with him that he erred.
And I agree with you completely. My only thing is, how do you equate that To the Tokonu case, though, all the things that are listed in the Tokonu case, right? I don't think they are on the same scale. And I personally think that it's recipe for chaos if we go down that rabbit hole of trying to remove a chief justice anytime something comes up like that. I think that something should be done about it, for sure. I think that there should be justice for Atai. I think Atai's case should be re-looked at. I completely think so. But I don't agree with you when you say that this is grounds for the removal of the Chief Justice. Please react to me.
Chief Tokonu was sacked because of questionable judgment. And Justice Baffoe Bonnie is also saying that he has sentenced somebody to 70 years because of his family. Is also the same questionable judgment. So if Justice A has been sacked because of questionable judgment, I believe Justice 2 can also be sacked because of questionable judgment, because both are questionable judgments.
On a scale, I'm still struggling to see the equation, but anyhow, let's assume that in your definition, it's both questionable judgment. Have you put up a petition for this process that you want to see happen? Have you submitted a petition to the president to remove Chief Justice Baffoe
Bonnie? As at the time we were writing the article, he wasn't the Chief Justice yet. He wasn't a substantive Chief Justice yet. Now that he's Chief Justice, we are going to petition the president to sack him based on the questionable judgment that he administered.
Do you think you have have you read the mood of Ghanaians properly to do that, or this is something that you want to achieve for some sort of, and I'm not accusing you, it's a question, political aggrandizement?
Before we came up with this article, we had consulted a lot of people. In fact, we have talked to 2,000 or more people before we came with this
of different political persuasion, or within your political set.
Come again?
These 2,000 people, were they of different political persuasions? Or
they are of different political parties. And then we also spoke with businessmen and women. We spoke to diasporans. We spoke to them because, you see, when your judicial system is not grounded properly, it scares investors. So we spoke to a cross number of people.
Okay, well, and so essentially, what you want to see is Chief Justice Baffoe Bonnie removed, correct?
Yes, please.
All
because
right.
there is an adage which says that what is good for the goose is also good for the Ganges.
What is good for the goose could be good for the gander, but I personally don't believe what is good for the goose is always good for the gander. It's a personal feeling I have, but again,
yes, that is your opinion.
Well, again, it's an opinion. I did say that, but let me go back to why I asked you why. Let me ask why I asked you if you have read the mood of Ghanaians, because when Chief Justice Tokonu was removed, let me go back a little bit further. When Electoral Commissioner Charlotte Osei was removed, read the mood of Ghanaians. I didn't see any form of exhalation. When Chief Justice Tokonu's issue came, I read the tea leaves. I read the mood of Ghanaians. Ghanaians, apart from all the legal stuff, which can be argued in court, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not going to argue any of that. But Ghanaians felt like for a Chief Justice who can say that a passport is not proof of citizenship, for instance, a Chief Justice who could empanel judges quickly to rule on a political matter while there were other cases which have been sitting in court for years and stuff like that. People had issues with that. Now Ghanaians kind of have a certain trust, if you want to call it that, with Justice Baffoe Bonnie. Don't you read that?
In fact, I beg to differ, because you all of us know that passport cannot be
my mistake, not passport. Birth certificate is what I meant. The birth certificate. And the former Chief Justice said birth certificate is not proof of your citizenship. What then is? Right? But we're not going back to that. I'm just saying, Ghanaians thought like the law was being skewed to dangerous levels. Is the point I was trying to make. Versus Baffoe Bonnie. This is why I was saying good for Goose is not always good for Ghana, because yes, Tokonu may have been sacked based on this. But if you look at some of the other baggage, and then you look at Baffoe Bonnie, what are you seeing about Baffoe Bonnie that is so terrible that he must be removed? Going past,
the Ghanaians that
may consider a bit critical regarding the yeah, but please go ahead.
Ghanaians are not happy at all. You know why?
Tell me why.
A judge who is presiding over all judges says that he sentenced somebody to 70 years because he was afraid.
Yeah.
One, they are not happy because one, Ghanaians fear that when issues go to court,
judges may get extreme like that. Yes, and
judges may get extreme.
I completely agree with you. I think that Baffoe Bonnie, Chief Justice Baffoe Bonnie, should find a way to redeem that comment, most definitely. And I think that whoever Atayi's lawyers are, if they're still around, or if they are not, Atayi should seriously think of getting new lawyers to relook at this case. That man does not, and you said it, he's been reported to have done many terrible things, right? But justice is justice. Justice is justice. And I've heard Atayi turning over a new leaf in prison and all of that. I think it's time for him to hire a new lawyer to take a look at that. But that's not the point right now. The point is the removal of the current Chief Justice. I don't agree with you, my brother, that there's enough grounds to remove it.
And that's why I said that's the opinion, because if somebody has been removed due to questionable judgment and by somebody, the first one, the first questionable judgment was reported by somebody. If the it is equally good for the president, who himself said that he has administered a questionable judgment in the case of Atayi. Very simple.
I mean, again, you said that was my opinion. This is your opinion, because the Chief Justice did not say he had administered questionable judgment. He said what he said, and you are interpreting that to me questionable judgment. But let's end the interview with the last sentence of your, well, not the last but one, I think. But let me combine those two. You say a Chief Justice must embody ethics without compromise. And before that, by the way, guys, scan the QR code. You can see it right there if you want to read the article, right? In about an hour or so after the show is over, this article will be published on ghnewsnow.com, www.ghnewsnow.com. So you can scan that QR code right there, and it will take you to our website where you can read the entire piece, co-authored by my good friends, Seth Edueje, who we're speaking with right now, and Kweku Heme. Two of them wrote this. But in that last two sentences, last two paragraphs, he said, a Chief Justice must embody ethics without compromise, justice without fear, courage without negotiation. Because once the law becomes selective, scared, or subjective, then we no longer serve the law, we serve fear in judicial robes. In any serious democratic country, the Chief Justice nominee automatically gets disqualified for such an injustice meted out in his judgment. I agree with you in the first part. In the second part, Where did you see this happen? Can you give us an antecedent in anywhere in the world where a Chief Justice automatically got disqualified as a result of something like this?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please come again with the question because the network was a bit.
All right. So, well, I read the last two sentences of the last two, not sentences, paragraphs of your article. And I was saying that I agree with you completely in the first part, right? And in the second part, you're talking about the Chief Justice nominee automatically gets disqualified, right? But as matter of fact, let's leave that alone because I think we probably are flogging a dead horse. I've said that many times. Let's go rather to the previous paragraph. You said the Chief Justice must embody ethics without compromise, justice without fear, and courage without negotiation. Which of these three is Chief Justice Baffoe Bonnie not exhibiting?
Oh, all the three. All the three. If you listen properly to what he said at the parliament, I mean, he's not exhibiting all the three, and that is dangerous for the nation because if the head of your judicial system is compromising with the things that we have enumerated over there, it means it calls for worry.
Okay. All right. Seth, when are you going to deliver that petition?
I said that now that he's been approved, you see, it's a nomination and then approve of the nomination and then appointment. So we are waiting for, even though the parliament has approved of his nomination. So we are waiting for the president to charge him officially. When he charges him, then we start the process of petitioning the president.
Okay. And one of our viewers is asking me to ask you if you are not doing the bidding of a political party. You already said you are an activist in the NPP, so it's a fair question to ask. Please answer that for us as we wrap up the interview.
No, you see, apart from being a member of a political party, I am a citizen of Ghana, and I want the best for Ghana. So this one, politics aside, we want the best for Ghana. We want the judiciary should attain their independence.
All right. Thank you very much, Seth Edu Ej. Seth is a co-author of that piece that I just told you about. It's going to be published on the website, and he is also the founder and currently not the chair, but a founder of Eagle Eye International. Thank you so much, Seth. And we will be coming back to you again before you submit that petition. Please prompt us so we can call you in and speak about it again, possibly before you submit it. Please.
All right, thank you, sir. We will do so. We will do exactly so. Thank you for the opportunity given to me to talk to your viewers and your listeners. Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you too, my brother. Thank you very much. We all want the best for Ghana, and so we all gather opinions, put them together, stir it in the pot, and it becomes the delicious stew that we all feed on to build Mother Ghana. Thank you so much, Seth Edweje from Eagle Eye International. And we will be right back after this short commercial break.